This is the review of the main events in the armed forces of Ukraine for the past week. This week, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported on the situation in the area of the city of Siversk, Donetsk Oblast. Following intense fighting, Ukrainian units withdrew from the city in order to preserve the lives of their servicemen. The General Staff noted that during the battles for Siversk, the defense forces of Ukraine exhausted the enemy, and every meter of the city came at the high cost to the adversary. Russian occupying forces were able to advance due to significant numerical superiority and constant pressure by small assault groups in difficult weather conditions. At the same time, Siversk remains under the fire control of Ukrainian forces. By attacking Odesa Oblast, Russia is attempting to block Ukraine's access to maritime logistics. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy stated. The spokesperson of the Naval forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Dmytro Pletenchuk, noted that the main challenge is enemy ballistic missile strikes launched from the temporarily occupied territory of Crimea, as well as Shahed UAV attacks from the sea, which the defense forces attempt to intercept on the daily basis. He emphasizes that the enemy has limited room for maneuver, and in order to deploy landing ships, it must achieve success on land. Recent attempts to conduct assault on the left bank of the Dnipro River have failed. Therefore, lacking success on land and unable to operate openly at sea, the enemy delivers strikes primarily from the air, the Naval Forces spokesperson stressed. 52 civilians, including children, were forcibly taken by Russian troops from the village of Hrabovske in Sumy Oblast to the territory of the Russian Federation. At the onset of intensified enemy activity, Ukrainian units were forced to withdraw from certain positions in the area of the village, which is located near the border with Russia. At present, Russian forces are attempting to attack and advance deeper into Ukraine. However, the defense forces are holding their positions and inflicting fire damage on the enemy using drones and artillery. The armed forces of Ukraine regard the forced deportation of civilians by Russian occupiers as a violation of the Geneva Conventions. The Security Service of Ukraine has released new details of a unique special operation, as a result of which a Russian submarine was destroyed in Novorossiysk. During preparations for the strike on the submarine, officers of the Security Service of Ukraine struck a modernized Il-38N maritime patrol and reconnaissance aircraft, known as Sea Dragon, at Yelsk Air Base. The aircraft is designed for maritime reconnaissance, submarine detection, area surveillance, mine lane operations, and torpedo strikes. The damaged aircraft had been actively countering the operations of maritime drones operated by the Security Service of Ukraine. In the Black Sea, the Russians had only one aircraft of this class capable of detecting the subsea baby underwater drone while it was en route to its target, the service reported. This week, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported that during the night of 19th of December, a Project Okhotnik military vessel was successfully struck. The vessel was conducting patrol operations in the Caspian Sea near an oil and gas extraction platform. Several Ukrainian drones hit the ship. One of the drilling platforms supporting oil and gas production and involved in sustaining the armed forces of the Russian aggressor was also struck. The Security Service of Ukraine reported that its long-range drone struck two enemy Su-27 aircraft at the Belbek military airfield in temporarily occupied Crimea. One of the aircraft, fully loaded with munitions, was preparing for a combat sortie it was destroyed. The main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine reported the strike on 2 enemy fighter aircraft at the Russian military airfield near Lipetsk. During the night of 21st of December, 2 Su-30 fighter jets caught fire. Both military aircraft were rendered inoperable. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported the successful strike on a Tamaneftegaz oil terminal in Krasnodar Krai. The terminal is part of the logistics network supporting military operations of the Russian occupying forces. Additionally, during the night of 24th of December, units of the Defense Forces of Ukraine carried out successful strikes on a synthetic rubber plant in Tula Oblast of the Russian Federation. The facility specializes in the production of components for plastic explosives and solid rocket propellant. According to the General Staff, strikes were also recorded against a number of air defense assets and areas of enemy personnel concentration in a temporary occupied territories of Ukraine. On 25th of December, units of the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine carried out a successful strike using Storm Shadow cruise missiles against the Novorossiysk petroleum products plant in Rostov Oblast, Russian Federation. As reported by the General Staff, the target was hit. The facility is one of the largest suppliers of petroleum products in southern Russia, and in particular provides the Russian army with diesel fuel and aviation kerosene. During the night of the 23rd of December, the Russian Federation launched another combined strike against critical infrastructure facilities of Ukraine. The enemy employed 635 unmanned aerial vehicles and 38 missiles. According to the Air Force Command of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 587 UAVs and 34 missiles were shot down. In addition, 3 air-launched ballistic missiles failed to reach their targets. The Air Force emphasizes that the high interception rate of cruise missiles was ensured by F-16 fighter pilots. This was a review of the main events in the Armed Forces of Ukraine over the past week. Take care and stay safe. Glory to Ukraine!